of Nutella.
Oh, all right. Hello. Kia ora whanau. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Happy New Year. I'm excited. So I just wanted to do a super chill sit down video and talk about my birth story. So this is our little baby. His name is Tide and he is officially 2 weeks old today. He is doing really well. We are doing really well. Like, he's feeding super well, he's gaining weight, we're getting plenty of sleep, we are resting as much as we can, and yeah, I'm healing up well as well. Currently still bleeding, but doing well. Yeah, I chose to be induced. It was recommended because baby was looking quite big and stuff. I didn't necessarily believe that, but I went through with the induction anyways, and the reason for that was honestly more for my mental health than anything. I've had some bad experiences with my previous babies in terms of the midwifery and the hospital care that I had received, and basically if I wasn't going to be induced at 41 weeks, I would be induced at then I would have been induced at 42 weeks, which basically I assumed would happen because that's what happened with Sol. I was booked in for induction at 42 weeks, ended up going into birth naturally, like into labor naturally, and I kind of figured that would happen again. I wanted to make sure that I had the midwife that I've had majority of my pregnancy. She's wonderful. Her name is Justine. So that's why I chose to be induced. I was booked in for an induction on the 23rd of December, and I had to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Got there right bang on time, so kind of technically late. We gave the kids some cuddles at home before we headed off. We live 45 minutes out of town, so it's a bit of a drive. Naz's dad was here staying with us. His name's Damien. Him and his partner Chanel have a social media called The Current Place. If you guys ever want to watch them, they're amazing. They are renovating a wool shed at the moment. So Naz's dad Damien was staying with us at the moment to look after our big boys, Cove and Sol, while we went to the hospital to be induced. And Naz's mum Ty was also here helping out with the boys until we would ring her, because she was a part of my birth support team. So yeah, there's a few flies in the room. I'm so sorry about that. While we were in the car, I was already having like consistent contractions, like the early labor, like early, I wouldn't even say like early active, like early labor, just tightenings regularly. And once I got into the hospital, we waited in the waiting room for a bit until we got called in. Then we were put in a room with two other ladies. We get put in like this little curtain section. They had a chair for Naz to sit on, and then the classic hospital bed for the pregnant woman to sit on and lie down. They hooked me up to the CTG machine because they wanted to regularly like check on baby and contractions. And then I also got an IV put in. I got it put into my right hand because the lady asked me if I was left-handed, and I said yes. I'm not left-handed. I don't know why I did that. I'm just awkward sometimes. Heartbeat before starting on the induction medication, which I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. It's like prolactin maybe. That is probably wrong. It's this little drink that's in a syringe, basically like this much, that you syringe in your mouth and swallow, and you take it every 2 hours, and you're allowed 8 doses a day, and then I think they'll take you to 3 days using that method. And it's basically like a less intense version of induction. Yeah, basically. So I started my first bit of medicine it tasted like watered down Panadol, and that was around, I think, 9:30 in the morning. So we got there at 8, and then by 9:30 we were finally taking the first lot of medication. And yeah, basically we spent the day in the hospital, just regularly getting given medication. It was actually really nice for me. Naz popped in and out of the hospital. He went and grabbed us Kai a few times from out of the hospital, but Naz also made me chicken pesto pasta. He asked me what kind of foods that I would want while I was in the hospital, and I really wanted chicken pasta salad, so Naz made me do lots of chicken pesto pasta. And then he also packed us some yummy snacks as well. I was having a great time. Like, it was so good. Me and Naz spent a few hours watching The Rookie, and then I went and had a nap, and Naz went and popped out to go see some friends while I had a big fat sleep. Just every 2 hours I was taking the induction medication. I think it was around 3 or 4 o'clock. My contractions started to hurt, and I was kind of saying to them, like, I don't think I need any more of the medication, but you want some booby? Again, horrible storyteller, but my contractions started to hurt a little bit, and at that point Naz called his mom, and she headed on over to support us. And by the time she was there, yeah, my contractions hurt quite a bit. I kept going to the toilet a lot, and yeah, we kind of just let it keep going. They were super close. We got told to wait until there was at least 4 contractions within 10 minutes. So Ty, my partner's mum, started to time the contractions as well as time how far apart they were, and kind of give an estimate on how we're going. And once they were regularly, like, what's it called, like, constant, we talked to the hospital midwife and asked her if we could get a room and her in touch with my proper midwife. Once she checked up on the CTG, she kind of like watched my behavior for a bit. Then she went and got a room sorted for us. And yeah, I think by the time it was like, I want to say 8 or 9 p.m. I might be completely inaccurate, guys. Again, it's already getting away on me. Actually, to be honest, on the day, I didn't even know the time most of the time. But yeah, I had about 6 doses of the medication, and then I got moved into one of the birthing suites. The lights super dim, and eventually my midwife rocked up, and I was in a lot of pain. I started getting in a lot of pain. Again, going toilet constantly. My birth plan was to have a drug-free birth, in terms of like no epidural and no gas and no morphine or anything like that. None of that stuff. But I ended up giving the gas a good go. The reason why I don't like giving the gas is 1, I vomit. 2, I just feel really overstimulated trying to breathe through something that isn't like normal. But I did end up giving the gas a go. So my contractions were very regular. I used a birthing comb to kind of help a little bit. But mostly what helps me a lot is Naz squeezing the heck out of my hands, like squashing my hands. Because it helps me focus the behavior on my hands. It helps me focus the pain on my hands rather than the actual really bad pain, which is what the birthing comb is for. But honestly, I could not squeeze the birthing comb enough to give me the distraction that I needed. And Naz is my like rock. Like with Soul's birth as well, he was amazing and incredible. Well, with all 3 of my kids' births, like our kids' births, honestly, Naz has been incredible. But in particular with Soul's one, we really didn't have a good midwife who was supportive of us. So he truly was my everything, and so like onto it with trying to find different ways to bring relief to me, that we discovered like just like being able to get like me squeeze his hand and him squeeze back quite hard, maybe like heads pushed together, him breathing with me and just encouraging me with every contraction helps so much, that he literally just needed to like, I think he was gone for like 2 contractions, just on the toilet for himself while I had Naz's mum. And the relief that I got from Naz helping versus like Ty helping was not, you know, like it's just so needed for me to have my partner. But it was really nice to have Ty there as well, who was also comforting me and encouraging me through it, and there for whatever I needed, like passing me my water bottle, heating up heat packs, putting the heat pack on my back. Like, this is such a mess of a story, but essentially like the support that I got from both Naz and his mum was incredible. Having the one-on-one with Naz where it's kind of like just me and him, but then we're being supported by Ty and the midwife, was just so incredible and just so needed. I asked my midwife for a very hands-off birth. That's what I wanted. But there was one point where I asked her if morphine would help, and she said it was way too late for that, which was so fair. And I'm really grateful as well that she was still listening to me while I was laboring, but honored my original birth plan, because I've never had my birth plan be honored by anyone ever before, whereas Justine was really made sure to honor it, and so did my partner and Ty as well. So that was amazing. It got to the point, well, I was laboring everywhere. I was kind of like on the bed, on my knees, and like with my hands up. I was like mostly wanted to labor standing up because I couldn't get relief anywhere, and when I was standing up it really hurt, but I felt like I could kind of move a little bit through the contraction, whereas I really couldn't when I was like lying down. On my side was the worst. Like lying on my side or having to get like checkups was the worst. And yeah, my midwife told me to like, oh, sorry. So I go to have a checkup and I've been in pain, and she said that I was only 3 centimeters dilated at like almost midnight, which was super annoying when I heard that, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. And I also rated the pain like a 7 out of 10, when in reality it's a 3 out of 10. So that was a little bit disappointing, but because of how much pain I was kind of in, I both had a little bit of confidence that I was like, this is gonna go super fast, but also like this terrifying feeling that I'm just gonna be in pain for such a long time, which is what it felt like. Like with every contraction that came, I just started to get less and less empowered, honestly, less confident and more scared that I'm just gonna be more and more in pain and the baby isn't gonna come out. I've never had my waters naturally break before. So with my first 2, the hospital broke my waters once I was, you know, further along and stuff in terms of laboring, but they broke my waters themselves. So I've never experienced waters breaking naturally at all. And the pain was getting more and more with the contractions, and yet no waters were breaking, and there was no mucus plug. Like no blood, no mucus plug, no nothing. Like I wasn't having signs that the baby was ready to be pushed out, but I was in so much pain, which in my head was comparable to the pain that I was in with my second son, Sol. But no signs that he was like ready to be pushed out or anything. Then my midwife told me to go to the toilet, and a bit of my plug came out. Again, nothing near close to what I experienced with my second son. It was very different. It was definitely mucus plug, but it just wasn't the same, if that makes sense. So I started feeling really fearful that I was nowhere near pushing, even though I was in so much pain. I started swearing a lot. I was swearing a lot. The contractions were obviously getting more and more close together. I felt like I really wasn't getting a break from them whatsoever. It felt like it'd been hours of just constant contractions that were just getting stronger and stronger, and yet no waters had been broken or anything like that. So my midwife then kind of said, like, do you want to get up on the thing and I'll check you? I really did not want to, because I was in so much pain, and I did not want to be lying on my back on the table, like on the hospital bed, and getting touched and whatnot when I'm in this much pain. But I said yes. I hopped up on the hospital bed and I could not open my legs for the life of me. I just kept getting contractions, and now I'm on my back. So I labor a lot in my back and in my I labor a lot in my back, but with this baby, I felt it in my back, in my pelvis, in my tummy. Like, I just felt it absolutely everywhere. I was exhausted. And it took me a while to actually open my legs and let them check. And then I finally opened my legs, and I got another contraction, and they could see baby's head was like bulging, basically, like his head was right there, kind of thing. And just naturally, when I started getting the contraction, I was pushing. And so they were like, yep, you can push, right? It felt like I was going to break my bum. Like, I didn't feel ready to push. I knew in my head my waters hadn't broken. And I also knew I'm on my back, and this is not the way that I wanted to give birth. So those two things were kind of like on my mind heavy of like, well, my waters haven't broken, have they? Like, no one has told me they've broken. I haven't felt them break. Did they break? And oh my God, I'm on my back. This is going to suck. So regardless, I was pushing because naturally my body was just like needing to, with the pressure and pain that I was feeling. And I honestly felt like I was going to break my butt. Like, because you kind of like push, and it feels like you're going to break your butt. Like, it feels like you're pushing a poo out kind of thing. Maybe a little different, but like, yeah, like you're pushing from that area kind of thing. And this felt crazy. It felt a lot different. One, I was in a different position than my last two births. I was just a different experience altogether from both Cove and Sol. It felt very crazy, and that's because my waters weren't broken. And I was pushing his sack out as well. So that's why it felt like I was going to break my ass. So yeah, that was intense, but apparently I didn't take that long. I was around, I don't know. I don't really know the timings of everything, but apparently I pushed him out quite fast. And once his head was through, when he does, so babies, when they give birth, you push out their head and they do a turn. And then you keep pushing. When he turned his head, my waters broke then. And then it was just kind of one more push to get the body out. It was like, yeah, one more big push and his whole body came out. That felt so relieving, like so incredibly relieving. But I was tired, like, and a little bit in shock. Yeah, once baby came out, so relieving. I was pretty in shock. They put Bubba on my chest. He was so slippery, and I had no strength left in my arms to like pick him up or anything. I kind of just like touched him a little bit with my hands and arms, and got Naz and maybe the midwives at one point to like help me kind of move him into a better spot. Naz ended up moving him where he needed to go, and then I had to obviously deliver the placenta. That sucks. And that's where the funny photo on Instagram comes from, is from delivering the placenta, because that is so sore, and they touch your belly and it's just like, it's insane. It's so sore. Baby breastfed within the hour. They pretty much got him on me like within 15 minutes. And then I think by the time like he was feeding on me and they were preparing I don't even know. Again, everything is very mixed. I should have tried to record the story straight away, but obviously I was tired. I'm just gonna change, baby. Oh, but yeah, essentially he breastfed within the hour. He looks super healthy. He was born 9 pounds 3, which is 4.1 kgs, 55 centimeters tall. He latched super easy. It was a bit sore, but you know, it was fine. Like, yeah, it was great. I wanted to gap it as soon as possible, like as soon as possible. I wanted to go home. There was no way I was staying in the hospital. I did not want to experience that whatsoever. Naz would have been able to stay in the hospital with me if we had decided that, but I just wanted to go home and be with my family. We headed home around 5 o'clock in the morning. So we were like there for another 3 hours, which went so quickly. Like, I did not even realize that it was the time. We were like, Naz was driving us home. Like, I am so thankful for him. He was very tired, but he was such a good support person throughout the whole labor, throughout obviously birth. And he did get offered to obviously catch the baby and deliver the baby, but I honestly just asked if he could be with me. He wanted to do whatever I wanted to do. I feel bad that I took away the opportunity for him to deliver the baby, but he, you know, obviously wanted to do what I needed from him or wanted from him, and I really needed him like up with me. I was so scared and I was just so sore that I was holding both Naz and his mum at the same time and telling them like, I cannot do this. I can't do this. I need help, which is like, you know, so vulnerable. I laugh about it now, but like genuinely at the time I was in so much pain and just felt so scared, and like I just felt like I couldn't get relief from the pain I was experiencing. So I was like telling him like, I need help, and Naz was like, they are helping, everyone's helping you, you can do this, you're doing amazing. And yeah, helping me like breathe through things and everything like that. But yeah, we were heading home at 5 in the morning. The sun was literally rising, and we got home with our precious little baby on Christmas Eve. Me and Naz slept until like probably like 11, and then I had another big fat shower. I washed up, I washed my hair, I just washed as much as possible in our own family shower. Baby was asleep in the bassinet, and yeah, it was really good. I don't know, that was a mess of a storytelling. I'm so sorry. Hopefully some of that made sense and it wasn't a complete mess of a birth story. Editing is gonna be fun. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and letting me share this with you guys, and I will see you next time.